On the heels of this big winter storm, we're still tracking freeze alerts, and then we're right back at it. More rain and snow in the forecast for parts of California. I'm ABC 10 Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods. Let's go ahead and break it down. This was at Miwok Village. You can see the snow piling up. Just a beautiful scenic winter sight there. And as we turned our attention into Thursday morning, it was all about the low snow. It was falling at elevations like an Auburn, just above 1,000 feet, through Pine Grove, and even through parts of the foothills that don't normally see snow every winter season. Beautiful conditions there. Now in the high country, though, it was a much more serious situation. In fact, still looking at road closures early Thursday throughout the Sierra. You can see these snow-covered roads nearly impassable. Things improving on the back edge of this heading into Thursday evening, early Friday, but the dangers remain. Avalanche warning remains in effect through Friday. Still very high danger in the backcountry. Keep in mind, we've had multiple rounds of snow coming through, so the slabs of snow are still very vulnerable. A lot of people going out there to test those snowpacks and to make sure that they're safe, not only in the backcountry, but also at all the ski resorts. Now, we still have that winter storm warning, by the way, until 10 p.m. for our Thursday. Still about 6 to 12 inches of snow in the winter storm shaded areas. And then for the winter weather advisory, up to 12 inches of additional snow. A lot of folks were turned around trying to get up to that fresh snowpack for our Thursday. This is all going to come to an end this evening with our first weather impact alert round. Impact being snow for today with that low snow. Had a chance of thunderstorms early in the afternoon, but those are starting to subside. Need the extra travel time. And again, they're just advising everybody stay off those mountain passes. Here's round one. You can see the difference in the cloud structure here. That's indicative of that cold air really pressing in towards Northern California. Still snow trying to linger into the early afternoon. This is all going to exit by the time we get to tonight. So tracking the snow, this has been really fun to watch, and really this storm system delivered. So many of the ski resorts put multiple feet of fresh powder on the slopes. You can see Sugar Bowl, 84 inches, Palisades, Tahoe, 8+ feet of snow, I should say. Kirkwood, 73 inches, as well as Bear Valley. So it didn't matter if you were in the Northern Sierra, Central Sierra, everybody got access to this huge snow coming in. And it was a really good rainmaker for us as well. We dried out quite a bit in December and January after a great start to the water year in October and November, well ahead of pace. Dried out for the 2 months of the 3 that are our wettest of the year. February is our second wettest month of the year, so it was nice to see that storm cycle start up again. And we still have more to go, very possibly getting above what we should get in the month of February. So that's kind of been nice to pick up that pace once again, because we are starting to see these deficits grow, especially in Northern California. Numbers look great throughout the state, and then you showed the departure from normal, and almost everybody is ahead of where we should be this time of year, even Southern California, which typically runs right about average, if not slightly below that, at least the last several years. So our snow water equivalent, we've started to pick up that as well, anywhere from 50 to almost 100% of average finally throughout the Sierra snowpack. That's what we really rely on for our savings account of water. It's free access of stored water in the high country that melts off and meters slowly into our reservoirs, really helping us to buffer the dry part of the year. 72% of average to date for our statewide outlook there. Major reservoir supply, we were always looking pretty good, even when we hit that dry stretch. And now this, again, just added that buffer that we can kind of breathe a sigh of relief and take a back seat here to really monitoring this super closely. Things are looking really good. Chances are we're going to have some pretty good water supply heading into the dry part of the year. So our weather timeline, we come out of this weather system, and again, we saw the cold pocket of air continuing to press into Northern California. Here's what it does for us. It gets us into freezing low temperatures Friday and Saturday. Sunday, not a weather impact alert day. We are going to see a couple of showers ripple on through. Next week, we turn our attention to another weather impact alert with rain and snow making a return. It's much shorter in duration and nowhere near as cold as what we saw. But again, on the back edge of this, we get into a freeze warning. This is going to continue through 9 a.m. on Friday morning. Temperatures between 28 and 32 degrees. So protect the plants, bring in the pets, and just watch out for people that might be vulnerable to this type of cold weather. In fact, it's the type of cold weather with the duration of of how long it will last. That could cause hypothermia. We also, in the background of this, have a cold weather advisory. Again, same time frame, lasts until 9 a.m. on Friday. Impacts to people, pets, and plants. Extreme cold warning for parts of the East Bay communities. We're talking temperatures dropping into the mid-20s to the low 30s. You can see how quickly we're going to cool behind the passage of that cold air that is moving through right now. And once those showers start to clear, we're going to have clearing skies, maximum cooling overnight into early Friday morning. Fairfield, we're down to 30 degrees. We're in the low 30s for Sacramento and Elk Grove, as well as Placerville. Single digits for the higher elevations. Again, really dangerous cold conditions to start us off for our Friday. After we get through Friday and Saturday with a near repeat of weather conditions, we're going to start tracking our next weather maker. This one has an interesting approach. It's going to kind of send a pulse of wet weather our way and then kind of back off again on Sunday. So we dry out into the overnight hours through Friday and Saturday. Storm track bumped up just a little bit here, and then a little pulse of wet weather trying to move our way Sunday, and then it's not until Monday deep in the evening that we actually see the biggest band of rain starting to move our way. Again, this is going to be a warmer storm. So one thing that we are going to be tracking is how much of that low snow piled up at elevations, say 4,000 to 6,000 feet, that will now be hit with rain. That's going to send all of that water and melting snow down the hill. We're going to have to look at the tributaries, how the river system is handling that, especially because we saw a pretty decent snowpack piling up. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, that snow line will be fluctuating between about 6,000 to 8,000 feet. So it really starts off around 7,000 feet up to 8,000 feet on Tuesday, back down to around 7,000 feet. Not a lot of accumulation left over by Thursday at 6,000 feet. Nonetheless, this is a much different weather system than what we just had. Usually we'd prefer to have the warmer system before the colder system, just because of that risk of melting at some of the lower Sierra elevations. Not a ton of snowfall with this weather system coming in, but managing to pick up about an inch to 12 plus inches of snow. So we could see about another foot of snow coming in next week from that system, and about another inch of rain. That's why I was saying that we very likely have the chance to catch up and even exceed what we normally see in the month of February. Would be nice after a dry January and December. Again, two of our wettest months of the year. Then we're into a likely warmer and likely drier weather pattern by the time we start off March. March doesn't tend to be a huge whopper of a month for us for precipitation. So if we can kind of round out the month with above average precipitation for snow and rain, we're sitting pretty good as we head into the drier part of the year. Highs for our Friday forecast in the 30s. We're in the 40s to right around 50 throughout the foothills. We'll see highs in the 50s after a very cold start to the day. Vacaville, we're looking at a low of 30. Napa, 31. Kind of interesting what will happen with those wine grapes there. And then as we look into the capital region and the northern San Joaquin Valley, after a cool start to the day, we'll warm those temperatures into the 50s. Still a little bit cooler than average. We make a real quick turn here back to warmer weather. You can even see for the Sierra, after seeing highs only near 30, we're warming to almost 50 by the time we get to next Monday. Same for the foothills, 40s for tomorrow. We're in the 60s by the time we get to Monday. And then we get the colder part of that storm moving through on Tuesday. So snow levels start off high and then they'll come down once again. Our extended forecast, we're calling for that next weather impact alert to start up around Monday. We could end up pulling that day back into just a Tuesday, Wednesday timeframe, but just want to be overly cautious here, especially after coming off what we just had here. The Sierra will be hit hard once again Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So there's a lot to track heading into next week with another weather impact alert.